Welcome to Thoughts Off the Stem. I'm Justin Barone, and thank you for joining me, your friendly neighborhood pothead. Hope you're enjoying the podcast. Hope you keep coming back every week. I hope that I'm entertaining you, really, is all it is. Today I wanted to talk about the idea of protecting your inner peace. Have you ever tried to protect your inner peace? Because that's been like my goal for like the last 3 years, is trying to keep myself in a pocket of happy and like no anxiety, no fear, no nothing like that. It's been tough. It hasn't been easy. But I find that it's really taught me how to like kind of keep my stress at bay. So I wonder how many people are actually trying to do that, because I work with the public, on a daily basis, and I see a lot of people that are high strung and shit. So I always wonder how these people try to mitigate their stress. Now, obviously, I've explained this before, but I work at a pot shop, so I think that's a big part of how people do it. They like to get fucked up. You know what I'm saying? They use all sorts of different products to, try to alleviate the tensions that they feel on a day-to-day basis. One of the things that I don't like is, because it's legal now, everybody's sort of like hopped on this thing of like, yeah, I know it's good for you. What I'm trying to say is this is what I think. So if you see somebody, let's say, drinking every day, right? You might question the fact that they may be an alcoholic. Okay? But if you smoke weed every day, people seem to be relatively okay with that now. If you use CBD every day, now CBD is not psychoactive, so I don't like, people don't tend to, they don't put it in the same category. Like, even now, this is fucked up. People that buy weed, stoners, purchasers of pot, okay, they don't see a problem with smoking and like being high and driving or functioning or going out and doing stuff. Whereas if you were drinking and going out to like go to work, people have a problem with that. Most people know it's wrong. Almost everybody knows it's wrong, and people try to hide it and get away with it. If you're a pot smoker, people don't generally try to hide it. And even Health Canada has allowed you to a certain level, if you need it medically, use it at work. That's fucked up to me, because it's still an intoxicant. It definitely alters your reality. So how is it not that, how is it more acceptable on a daily base use than booze is? Booze is a little bit more damaging, I guess, like to your body and to your life. But weed can be damaging, maybe not as damaging to your body, but it could definitely have an effect on your life. A lot of loved ones and people have a problem when their spouse, partner, or parent, brother, sister, whatever, start using it all the time. Then people start looking at them sideways. However, potheads seem to think that like it's acceptable to smoke a joint and then go for a joyride. Like, you can't do that. It's not a good idea. It's never a good idea to be intoxicated while driving, even if you're high. Sure, if you're high, it might be a little bit it might be a little less of an issue than drunk driving, but it's still an issue. Like, my experience with anybody driving high is they tend to drive a little bit slower, way more cautiously, but that can lead to just as many accidents as like high-speed drunk driving, because you're like totally out of it. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you're not the one flying into another person, but you get on the highway doing 60, that other car doing 120 is going to fucking drive right through you. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just very surprised that since weed has become legal, that there's sort of an acceptance of daily use. Whereas if you drink daily, people start questioning your motives, So I think in order to justify it, people have to find like an ailment that they're trying to like alleviate. So like they have like anxiety issues. Well, I have to smoke weed because my anxiety's up and it brings my anxiety down and it makes me more calm and then I can deal with people. Yeah, it also makes you more stupid because like your recall goes down, your ability to think is a lot slower, your reaction time is still slower, you're not moving at the same rate. You talk differently. People don't think they talk differently. And like one of the biggest tells when you get high of you being high, other than red eyes, is like the pasty mouth. So when you talk different. There's like a slower drawl to the way that you pronounce words. You maybe don't slur your words, but there's a different way that you enunciate. It's almost like you have this slack-jawed way of talking once you get high. Then your mouth gets dry and you get the pasties and everything sticks to everything. So you're constantly like trying to like smack your lips off of it and get some saliva going, but because you're stoned, the saliva's not going. You know what I'm saying? So in the effort to sort of curb anxiety and stuff like that, is weed really the answer? Maybe in some cases, because I know a few people that have like I know people that have ADD and ADHD, and there are definitely certain types of weed that directly affect how ADHD affects you, right? So like, there's one example. The way it was explained to me, because I don't have ADD or ADHD, is that you can't silence the voice in your head, right? So that's like a big part of it, especially working and stuff. So one of the things that I noticed was that there was a specific strain of weed where if people that had ADHD smoked it, they almost found that baseline of like what other people consider normal, right? So their focus was a lot better. They weren't kind of sporadically all over the place. They were better. They were more able and better at communicating. They were more able to uh, digest and explain their thoughts versus it being like fractured in presentation, you know? So I do see it to a certain extent, but it's not all of society, dude. Like, everybody doesn't need weed to function. Everybody doesn't need booze to, like, everybody doesn't need a drug to function. We just tell ourselves that we need a drug to function. So shouldn't you, instead of trying to tell yourself that you need some kind of drug to function, that you should like actively try to participate in learning how to manage your stress and anxiety levels and manage your inner peace? Because I spent a long time really, really stressed out between divorce, between having 3 kids under the age of 10, and a job that shouldn't have been high stress but became high stress, and then selling my house and stuff like that. Now, granted, financially, when I got stable, I got a little bit more calm with it, but that's where I learned you have to protect your inner peace at all fucking costs, right? So how do you keep the agitation away, and without going to like have a smoke, have a drink, have this, have that, like as adults? Because I think kids, you can learn something from kids. They get over shit quickly. So like 1 minute they'll have a problem with their friend, another minute they'll be upset, and it's sort of like they go through the emotions, but they discard them as soon as they're through the emotion. It's almost like they have to feel it and then they can let it go. Whereas adults, we get fixated. When the emotion happens, instead of trying to like course our way through it, we tend to like get stuck in it. And then we're riding that boat of like crazy for a little bit. And some people are good at getting off the boat. Other people are just in the middle of the ocean flailing, right? And I don't think it's very useful for most people to be trying to find a way to get inebriated to deal with those problems, because I don't think it always helps. Like, I believe that weed helps me sort through my shit. Like, when I sit down at the end of the day, I smoke a joint, I maybe think about the day, what I've done, how things went, how I reacted to certain situations. Just generally what I did, and it helps me progress. When I divorced, it helped me sit back, be introspective, and then reflect on the situation and find the moments and issues that I created or that I was more so a part of than just trying to blame the other person, right? Or blame the circumstance or this or that. I've noticed as an adult, not a lot of people are good at that. They don't want to. I think everybody can be good at something if they put the effort into it, but for whatever reason, I think people in general don't want to deal with it. They don't have enough energy for the effort that it takes to work a full-time job, take care of a family, and then also sit and ponder and reflect on yourself and your actions. And I don't understand why that loses out. Because if you can get a handle on, I'm sorry, I'm scratching my nose a lot. It looks like I've done some cocaine. I haven't. I have like this rogue hair, it feels like. So if there's a boog, I'm sorry. Hopefully there's no booger hanging out of my nose. It feels like there is, and it's driving me nuts. But yeah, I find that most people, they don't take the time. Like that part of life is sort of thrown to the wayside where they don't want to deal with the shit. So they don't sit back, they don't reflect, they don't take the time. They just kind of zombie through the day-to-day life through day-to-day life, right? And it's not that hard to protect your inner peace. If you don't get involved in other people's crap, you're generally a lot better, right? If you don't listen to anything Trump says, you're generally pretty good. Because he creates a lot of fucking fear, that's for sure, especially lately. Dude, that guy's talking a crazy mess. I don't know if he's going to do any of what he says. He's done some of it, I guess, but like the big things, I don't know. But those are the elements of life that constantly have you worried, right? Like it's the pressure. Like other people will tell you their shitty situation, and instead of leaving it as what it is, you take it on and you start to like encompass some of that into your life because you're worrying about what their life is like, about them trying to help or whatever. I've realized that there is a time and place to help people. There's a time and place to invest your energy in other people's issues and trying to help them through it. But you can't take on a good chunk of what they do or what's going on with them, because then it just bleeds into your psyche. And to let it bleed into your psyche will fuck up your day every fucking time, you know? And a lot of people, I get it. Like, I'm not trying to sound empathetic. I'm not trying to sound like I'm just like discarding people that have, you know, daily issues, but we all have fucking daily issues, right? It would serve us, like I said, to look at kids and think about how kids move through emotions throughout the day, because they're very good at having the emotion, accepting the emotion, identifying it, and moving on. Well, maybe they don't identify it very well, but it's like they live through it and they get over it and they move on and they discard it. We as adults just carry that like a backpack, and then it builds up, right? So you have this fucking, let's say you have like an anger. Every day you wake up, you have a bit of an anger or a frustration on your back. And then one thing goes wrong. Like you'd go to the drive-thru, you pick up a coffee, the lady goes to hand it to you through the window. It hits the window because it's not totally rolled down, and you spill coffee half on yourself and half out the car, and now you have no coffee. Now, that's another like little block of anxiety that you put in this fucking backpack. And then now it's a little bit heavier, right? And then let's say as you're going into work, you go to unlock the door, your key breaks, the door is now locked, you can't get in. Now your anxiety's up because you can't open your shop, or you can't get into your business, you can't start your work day, you're worried about your boss and this and that. Now there's an anxiety block that's a little bit heavier than the pissed off block, right? So the anxiety block goes in your backpack, now it's a little heavier, now you're a little more hunched over, and you're carrying around all of this like anger, frustration, anxiety, and then what other issues you pick up throughout the day. Fill out this backpack until by 5 o'clock in the afternoon, your backpack's overflowing with blocks that are just weighing you the fuck down emotionally. Learn from a kid. They get mad, they get frustrated, they take a minute, they go on to do something else. They you know what they do? They don't pick up a joint, obviously, because they can't, but like they don't pick up a joint, they don't go for booze. They go and do something else that calms them. Like when I was a kid, if I was mad or frustrated, I would go outside and I would shoot baskets because I just needed to get the physical energy out, right? And I find that as adults, because of how much life plays on our time and how little time we have in the day to be successful and do the things we need to do, I find that we neglect the physical side of things, right? And so getting out that physical energy and going for like a walk or playing a sport or just playing a game, maybe getting outside and like mowing the lawn, just doing anything physical. Do a couple push-ups, do some jumping jacks, get off the couch, do 25 jumping jacks, and I guarantee you your mindset will be totally different. A lot of that like anxiety and stress and fear will have gone away at that point. Maybe not gone away, but it will be mitigated because you're so all of a sudden releasing good endorphins into your brain, into your body. You feel better because you've moved around. Your blood is actually flowing where it's supposed to go. Yeah, you've made a physical change that will affect the mental stimulation, right, or the mental situation. And then that takes out, so like you do 25 jumping jacks, let's say it takes out that block of anxiety, right? Now all of a sudden you've just got a little pocket, you've got a little bit of weight still, you still have a little work to do, but you've got like fear and, what was the other one? Not fear, anger and frustration, right? Because that's two different things. Like anger is some people, you're physically mad and you're physically ready to just like blow a gasket, whereas aggravation is more, or frustration is more like you're just like you're pent up and you're not letting it out. You're just kind of like masking it a bit, I guess. And then it doesn't feel quite the same as fear does. Fear feels like way more violent, I guess you could say. Whereas frustration feels more like the kid in class that's constantly nattering at you, and just like trying to make fun of you, till finally you just snap. That's frustration. Whereas anger is the bully that walks over to you and just fucking open hand slaps you like a pimp. You know what I'm saying? So I always think about like, how do you mitigate that? How do you keep that under control? How do you do it so that you don't fucking lose your shit all the time? I think that you have to really look at life 100% as variety. If you are an angry person, or you're a frustrated person, or you're an overly negative person, I can almost bet that you don't go to the gym, that you don't work out. And I'm not telling you, I'm fat right now, okay? I weigh 265 pounds. So I'm not saying this from any source of like, oh, I'm better than you or I do it. I don't do it. That's why I was thinking about this, okay? What I do is I sit on my ass and I watch fucking Vikings for hours, all right? And then I think to myself, I couldn't be a Viking. These people slaughter people for less than what I'm thinking about right now, And where was I going with that? I just totally got on a side tangent. So if you if you're an angry person, if you're a frustrated person, if you're an overly negative person, there's very few of those people that I've met that are getting like even a little bit of exercise. Generally, their life consists of go to work, go home, drink. Go to work, go home, drink. Some of them, it's get high, go to work, get home, drink, get high. That's not a good combination. Like, you can do those things provided that you have sort of taken care of the demons ahead of time. So I'll give you like a quick little story about me so that I don't seem like this, like on my soapbox preaching shit. I'm just saying, all I'm trying to do is ask the question of, if you're this way, how do you deal with it? Because I deal with it, and I've realized this over the years, I have to deal with it through exercise. As a kid, I always played sports. As an adult, I never played sports. And I noticed that when I was more physical in the day, I felt better the next day and more capable of dealing with issues. And lately I've got into this slump of feeling kind of like frustrated or like crappy and bored. And it's because I've gone to work, come home. I haven't been getting high as much, but I go to work, I come home, and then I basically just sit on my ass when I come home. I do this podcast sometimes. But most of the time I'm just watching TV. I'm either hanging out with the kids watching TV with them, or I'm watching TV that I want to watch. And that's not good, because you're becoming very stagnant, right? You have to do a few things. Like, you have to feed your brain, you have to feed your body, and you also have to like exercise both for you to feel like a complete content human, I think. So instead of being grumpy and angry and frustrated, when you feel like that, it's almost most beneficial for you to probably go for a walk. Lift a weight or two. Maybe if you're really fat like I was, don't lift a weight. But so what I found was I was in that spot, right? Physically uncomfortable, mentally unhappy. And I thought to myself, like, what is different? Because up until about like 6 months ago, I felt great. And now all of a sudden I don't. Well, I got fatter, for one. Okay, I put on a lot of weight because I got comfortable and started eating everything I saw, because fuck that, why not? Not a good move. And then I just stopped doing anything physical. And at work, all I do is walk back and forth serving customers. I used to have a very physically demanding job, which sort of kept all that physicality in check, right? Now my job is not physically demanding at all. And I have no way to keep that in check. So I've just ballooned up to a really big fat guy, okay? About 2 or 3 years ago, I was in the best shape of my life. And then somewhere along the way, I started to get fat again, okay? So recently, I was very uncomfortable, very unhappy, my fucking like happiness meter was probably in the red a little bit. And I decided, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hop on the rowing machine. So I hop on the rowing machine, and like, it's only been a little while, but I noticed within a couple days of a massive change. Like my unhappiness meter my happiness meter went from red line to orange line. It was getting a little better. So I found and realized that I needed it. But let me tell you one thing, okay? When I was younger and I would do these things, like try to get back in shape, work out, do whatever, it was way easier. I'm 43, so like it was obviously considerably harder. Dude, I fucking sat on a rowing machine. You know how you have to get your legs like right up? You have to get your arms up over your knees. Like you're basically like in the fetal position sitting up, right? And I'm trying to I was trying to reach the handles on the rowing machine, like the rowing handles to, grab them, but your feet are strapped into the little foot pedals, and then your seat slides forward and your chest meets your knees, and you should easily grab the bar and be able to row backwards. Not Justin. No. Justin's fat ass gets on the thing, feels like I'm going to push out a giant baby, okay? Like I'm in stirrups rather than a rowing machine. I put my feet in, so I put one foot in. I tried to put the other foot in. I had to hold the bar of like the frame of the rowing machine to pull myself in close enough to do up the strap. That's how out of shape I am, how fat I am right now, okay? I fucking hate it. So I do that, I strap myself in, and then I have to use both hands again to pull myself closer to the bar now because my gut, okay, is literally like a fucking watermelon between me and my knees. So I'm sitting with my knees up in the air, obviously, and like way out. You ever seen the pictures or like drawings of like a cartoon fat Buddha where he's sitting and his legs are sort of like expanded farther out than they should be because his belly is like forcing them there? So that's what happens. I sit down, I pull myself up, my belly shoots my legs out, so my knees are pointing fucking 45-degree angles to the walls on either side of me, right? And my stomach is now impeding my ability to reach the fucking rowing handle. Dude, I was so uncomfortable. I couldn't believe it. I was like, this is horrible. Like I looked down and it looked like somebody had literally put a spare tire on me and my shirt was full. I don't remember the last time I noticed that like large clothes were tighter on me. You know what I'm saying? So I start to do that. I grab the things, I go to row, I pull back for the first time, and I'm like, oh my God, none of my muscles work, okay? I used to work out literally 2.5 hours a day after going to work and working for like, most days there was probably like 2 to 3 hours worth of shoveling just to do, right? So I'd go work, shovel, come home, do 2.5 hours of a workout. That's what I was used to. Your brain kind of stays in like that regular, or that like, once you do something, until you recognize that you can't do it anymore, your brain stays in the mode of, oh, I could do that. I can't do that, okay? I couldn't shovel. I had to shovel my driveway the other day. I was huffing wind like a bitch, okay? It was nuts. So I get on the rowing machine. My goal is to do 20 minutes because I'm thinking like, oh, I'll do an hour. After realizing that I couldn't even reach the fucking pedals, let alone the actual rowing bar, I was like, maybe I'll try 20 minutes because clearly I'm fatter than I thought I was. So I do my 20 minutes of rowing. I set it all up. I've got a little like screen that's a timer that tells me how many strokes, how many calories, blah, blah, blah. What the speed is that you're going, and how much time there's been. I'm rowing, not thinking about it. I put my tripod with my phone up so I can get distracted from the screen. So I'm watching Vikings. And of course, it's a scene where they're rowing. So I'm like, this will be good motivation, right? So I'm rowing. I'm thinking, oh my God, I've been rowing for like 20 minutes. I'm watching this scene on Vikings. I think it's gone, 20 minutes has gone by. I'm huffing wind. And I started slow because I was worried that I'd give myself a heart attack if I went too fast right away. So I started like easy peasy, okay? Slowly forward, slowly back. And then I got into a rhythm. And then your rhythm picks up. And it's slowly forward, slowly back. Faster forward, faster back. Faster forward, faster back. Faster forward, faster back. I realize I'm doing that. If you're watching this, I'm doing that in the opposite. But you know what I'm saying, okay? So as I'm doing this, I'm starting to huff wind more and more, but like it feels good, except for my gut, because I can't go far enough forward to get full extension of my arms and pull back without resting on my knees, which you're not supposed to do. But that's how fat I am right now. Okay? So being unhappy, being in that situation, rowing, I realized how fucking difficult it was. I think it's 20 minutes in. Dude, I look at the timer on the rowing machine, 2.5 minutes. I've been rowing for 2.5 minutes at the slowest, at a snail's pace. And you'd think I fucking rowed in the Olympics and won the amount of sweat that was coming off me. I'm out of fucking shape, dude. So I realized in that moment, not only was I super out of shape, but it was clearly affecting my attitude towards everything because I was uncomfortable. I'm so used, and I think as humans, we're so primed to be somewhat physical that if we don't get that release, it's almost as if you stiffen up over time and you become like an encased in like, what's it called? Lactic acid statue. You know what I'm saying? That's what I think. So I think that to keep your peace of mind, to protect it, a big part of that is some kind of physical activity, whether it's a walk every night for an hour at a decent pace, whether it's like, I would never go jogging, so I don't want to tell anybody to jog, but that's an option, a bike ride, whatever. I mean, it's always good if you have a dog, because then you have to walk a dog all the time, so that's like a good motivator. Not that I'm telling anybody to buy a dog, because right now my dog is pissing me off, man. She's been barking all fucking day. It's taken me forever to try this. That's why, if you're watching this, you might notice my beer filled up, because I got so fucking exasperated with her. I went upstairs, I let her out. She doesn't have to pee, she just likes to bark, okay? So don't tell me she has to pee, but I let her out anyway. She ran off some energy, we came back in, I grabbed a beer. That's where we're at. But see, that's even an example where anxiety, aggravation, and frustration all affected me at the same time. Did I just try to work through it? A little bit. I was trying to breathe. You know what I didn't do? I didn't kill the dog. So that's good. You know what I mean? I credit that to rowing. That's what I'm saying. I credit the aliveness of my dog right now to rowing, because there's nothing more annoying than a very persistent dog who will not stop barking at nothing. This dog has developed this habit of barking at fucking everything. You know what that is? That is like a mirroring of society. Everybody out there has some kind of cause that they have to bark about. And it's just incessant. And it never stops. When you want a little bit of peace, when you want to try and do something and focus, you can't. Because the social barking is all encompassing. That's how I feel that dog relates to this. And that's what I'm saying. Okay? Might be a little high. So I've been smoking the Maui Wowie from Piff. Again, if you want to see a review on it, subscribe to the channel, obviously. If you're listening to this, subscribe. Also go to YouTube, subscribe, and sign up, because then you get notified when I do Sunday strain reviews. What are Sunday strain reviews? They're the reviews of the things that I smoke on the podcast, so that you can better understand the weed that I'm smoking and the mindset that I might be in. That's right. And you can make a judgment and maybe find your new favorite weed. But yeah, if you sign up, if you subscribe to Thoughts Off the Stem, then you could check out the Sunday Strain Review playlist, and everything that I've smoked on episodes almost everything. I'm still working on populating it, because this was just a newer idea, but that's all in there. So this blabberfest right now is brought to you by Maui Wowie from Piff. But yeah, so that's what I feel like society does now. They amp themselves up and they bark like crazy, and they don't properly take care of their anxieties, their frustrations, their angers, their fears. They tend to just dwell on them and take them to everyone else. So if you want to be able to protect your headspace and protect your peace and protect your positive state of mind, you have to learn some techniques to like ward off the naysayers, because like I noticed working in the public, like I started this by saying, there's a lot of people that are angry at a lot of different things, dude. There's a lot of people that are down on themselves because of the situations that they're in. I'm not saying, and I'm not pretending to know all the situations or even understand them. But I will say this. I was born with a heart condition. I have an implanted defibrillator. I have in no way ever tried to allow that to be a crutch to me living my life in the best way possible. I understand that there are different levels to everything. I understand that not everybody, has the same situation, essentially. Some people have it a little tougher than others. But what essentially it boils down to is not allowing that ailment, that mindset, that disease, whatever it is, keep you down. You have to find the normalcy in whatever is going on with you. So no matter what the situation is, it behooves you. It behooves you to at least let out some of the physical angst as a starting point to finding like a positive frame of mind and keeping like a confident and positive as well, a confident and positive state of mind, because I see too many people on a regular basis that get caught up in other people's shit, that get too emotional about things that don't directly affect them, and it takes away from the joy of life. Like if you're always concentrating on what's going on elsewhere or what someone else is saying or doing or what's happening to them, then you're not concentrating on yourself, and you have to take care of yourself first before you can help take care of anybody else or even give advice for that matter. You have to get your shit together and you have to get into a place where you can accept and progress community around you, I think. And to do that, I think a big part of that is being physical. Then once the physical is satisfied, at least for me, you can then focus on the mental because your body's calm and your mind may be a little overactive, which is what mine gets sometimes. So then in that case, that's when you start feeding your thoughts, right? Feeding the brain. So instead of just sitting and watching TV and letting your mind wander off onto whatever, fucking pick up a book about something you're interested in and actually learn about it. It doesn't have to be anything great. Like an article even. Just something that can give your mind the ability to focus and learn at the same time. And then it's a mind workout, right? Like it's your brain flexing, okay? So once you've worked out your body and then you do that with your mind, then everything sort of starts to balance out. There's certain aspects of your life where you have to maintain them, right? So you have to maintain a certain level of reading, a certain level of interest in learning, a certain level of happiness, a certain level of fortitude, all that shit, right? But to do that, you have to almost exhaust the body and then just allow the brain to do what it does, which is want to learn and progress, right? And develop. So giving it that by going from like working out, like what I did was going from working out with rowing and shit, and then I started playing brain games on my phone. Now again, I know that they don't actually necessarily mean anything, but I do think that there's a benefit to playing these games to keep your mind sharp, right? And I've noticed that at night I am slow as a motherfucker. Okay, but in the day I'm good, So I think that that's the thing that everybody needs to sort of balance out and maintain their inner peace. Yeah. Apparently that's been on my mind lately. A lot. And you know what? Those are my thoughts off the stem for this week. So thank you for joining me, Justin Barone, your friendly neighborhood pothead, on Thoughts Off the Stem. I hope you come back next week. Until then, you know what you can do? You can check out tots420.com for some blogs about weed stuff. I'm going to work on some other stuff on there too. You can check out the catalog of episodes. Subscribe to whatever you're listening to. Subscribe, follow. Make sure that you listen to this all the time. You know, I'm a fun guy. I like to do things. I'm just having a sesh, hanging out with you. That's all I'm saying. So yeah, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Check out tots420.com because that's where you get the blogs. You get links to everything. Yeah, it's a good spot to be. And if you want to check out strain reviews, and what I'm smoking on the podcast, you can check out my YouTube channel playlist, Sunday Strain Reviews. There's a bunch in there now. And I try to do a variety of things. I'm also working on some that haven't been done yet, so there's more coming out eventually. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the sesh, and until next time, keep your lids low, baby. Dude, wait.